I'm sure when you hear spirituality, you think about like crystals and manifestation. Even though there's nothing, manifestation itself isn't not real, but the way that people perceive it to be real is not true. Like, I'm pretty sure manifestation to the typical person, thinking about something so hard that it eventually comes true, which I don't think it is. But we'll get into that some other time. Spirituality to me is the opposite of ego. When you are quote unquote a spiritual person, I believe you derive all your meaning and internal drive instead of it being outside of you and chasing something externally. A spiritual person is someone who doesn't let the external world control their internal world. They don't blame the external or circumstances for how they feel on the inside. They know that the external world is a reflection of your internal world. So whatever you focus on internally is what will be in your outside world. The universe is kind of like the YouTube algorithm to an extent. As in, when you watch a certain type of video, let's say you like watching self-help videos, the algorithm is going to give you a little bit more of that. They're going to be like, oh, okay, you like some of that video, you watch like 10% of it, let's give you a little bit more. And maybe you'll watch a little bit more, and then that will be the type of things you're surrounded with in your YouTube algorithm. The universe is the same way. Let's say you're a negative person. All you care about is the problems. If all you see is problems, there's no way to see solutions. And your whole world will be surrounded by just pure problems. You will look for the next problem. Once one problem is solved, you will just look for another and look for another. And some of this stuff that I'm talking about comes to some people very intuitively. Like they may not even know they are quote unquote spiritual or whatever. I believe all people are spiritual. Even if you don't believe in God per se or a religion per se, we all create our reality based on what we think in our minds and what we hold in our minds. A positive person will be positive because they are internally positive, not because the world, and maybe because they are so positive, the external world will give them more positivity to be positive about, because that's what they surround themselves with. A negative person will just see negative things in the world and they'll just think, yo, the world is just full of hate, and I don't want to say that there isn't hope for people, because I feel like there's always hope, but people's ego is so strong and so ingrained that they will not allow them to break free, not even for a second, to even think about it. Even if they do think about it, they'll just knock it up to like, this guy's just talking nonsense on the internet. What does he know, man? I'm 30 years old, blah, 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 blah. I feel like the older people get, the more of a grip ego has over them, because they believe they cannot learn anything else because they are old. They are quote unquote old. Even though they're just old, their body is old, but their mind is of like a 16-year-old. Most adults in our society do not grow up from the time that they are children. They're just children stuck in 30, 40-year-old bodies. They have no emotional intelligence whatsoever because they do not evolve. Be 30 and 40 and be miserable, and then question why they're miserable, and then they'll push this miserableness onto other people. I believe if you're a spiritual person, you can learn from anything and anyone, even a child, even an animal, if you see how animals are so naturally themselves without thinking about it. When I hear spirituality, all I think about is this new age crystals. People will sit here and talk about how you rub crystals on you to take your negativity away. The only thing holding you and your negativity together is the way you think about it. There's nothing externally that will make you feel better at all. These goals that we chase in the external world, such as maybe getting money or accomplishing our goals, it is not inherently bad to have a desire, to have a want, but it's the attachment to the want. You can strive for something without being too attached to the outcome, without 100% wanting it to happen 100%, because nothing in the world is 100% except the effort that you put towards it. Because you don't cling to, oh, if I don't get this in 10 tries, I'm going to give up. If I don't get this in this time frame, I'm going to give up. Spirituality is also taking responsibility for everything that happens to us. From the way that people talk to us, from the way that people interact with us, it is all your fault to an extent. If somebody were to offend you, it is your fault. Why? Because all they are saying is words. The person that chooses to be offended or not offended is the person who receives it. Do you choose to be offended? It's up to you completely. If somebody says something to you and there's not a thought at all in your brain, like somebody says, let's say somebody comes to you like, yo, you are so dumb, bro. Like, why are you so dumb? It is up to you if you allow this to enter your mind. A person filled with ego is going to be like, why would this person talk to me like this? This person doesn't know me. Why is he talking to me like this? I can't allow this. And they'll let these emotions bottle up inside them. Hate is the poison we drink, expecting it to hurt somebody else. The mind is really like a sword when you think about it. And I feel like a lot of people have a sharp sword, but they don't have a good hand to hold it. People constantly cut themselves with the ways that they think. And to be spiritual is to hold the sword real steady so that you can use it to cut down things in your path. Spirituality is not about gaining or striving to be anything or do anything. It's a constant disconnect of our conditioning that we grew up with and that we have experienced that holds us to the way that we view the world. It's to let go of these judgments and these like preconceptions we already have about the life we've lived and wipe the slate clean, one wipe at a time. In like along the spiritual, I guess, journey you want to call it, the word spiritual is just a word at the end of the day. And you almost have to let go of that as a concept as well at some point. If we identify too much with spirituality, it will just become another hill that we die on defending. If somebody were to question your beliefs or the ways that you think and you have the need and the strive to defend it, that is not giving you peace. It's like walking down a path that has no name. You don't identify too much with it. You don't describe the things that you see or the things that you feel. You just walk down the path. People will judge a homeless person who's like talking to themselves like out loud and be like, yo, and we're gonna be like, haha, look at that guy. He's talking to himself out loud. I don't think there's much of a difference from that person talking out loud and when everyday people just talk inside their heads to themselves every single day about the things that they see. They limit their experiences to just the words that they have to describe them. Appreciate you for tuning in. More videos like this coming up. If you haven't watched, check out my video on the Matrix. It was the last video I made. I want to start doing some reaction videos towards current events. Probably go back to gaming as well. Just a lot of things. I want to start posting a lot more frequently. But yeah, appreciate you for tuning in. Until next time, have a wonderful day.